Hello. I just finished my exercise for the day, so I thought I might talk a bit about how I motivate myself to exercise every day. This is something that us ADHD folks tend to struggle with, and yet it can be very good for us. So figuring out how to get ourselves to do it seems like a really good and important and useful thing. I have never been much of an exerciser, at least in the strictest sense of the word. When you think of exercise, you think of the doing repetitive motions, sometimes with weights or with other interactive objects, doing 5 reps of this, 10 reps of that, and with the goal of strengthening muscles or I don't know, what else do you do exercises for? That's how I feel about them. I just they don't make sense up here. So I've always, when I've tried to implement such a routine in the past, it just has not stuck. I'm like, this is dumb. Why am I doing this? My brain gets so bored doing the same thing over and over again. It's just not something that I've ever been able to embrace, even though I have tried a few times because it seems like it should be good for me, right? However, I have improved my relationship with exercise in the broader sense of the term, and I think this is what will help many of us with ADHD, is that you need to change your definition of what constitutes exercise in order to be able to find something that is suitable for you and your interests or your likes and what works for your brain, because it's going to be different for everybody. The most important key here is to find something that you enjoy. So it needs to be fun, or it needs to be interesting somehow, and that can be something that is actually fun or interesting to you, such as maybe you're really into dancercise, is that what it's called? Something like that. Or you love to hike, or I don't know, skipping rope, something like that. That you just enjoy for the activity itself. And so it's not really a difficult thing to make yourself go and do that. For me, that is hiking. I love being outside. I love being in nature. It just makes me feel so full and at peace. And it's not really a hardship for me to say, I'm going to go out for a hike with the dog for half an hour or something like that. The downside to that is you have to have someplace where you can do the thing. So in my case, I need some nature in order to hike. And if I'm not going to be anywhere close to a natural area that's going to, make me feel good inside, then I can't, it's harder to encourage myself to go and do the activities. So just hiking in town at the park where there isn't a whole lot of nature around doesn't fire me up nearly the same as going out to a hiking trail, but I can't always get out to a hiking trail. So that makes the activity, it makes the pursuit of a fun activity for the purpose of exercise a little more difficult. The same is true of like dancercise or something like that. If you don't have the ability to go and do that on your own, then it's going to be harder to make it a habit and get this exercise in. However, the other way I tackle this is by taking a slightly less interesting activity and making it fun. So for me, what I can fit into my routine regularly, because I'm a mom and I don't have a lot of flexibility during my daytimes, but I always have time after the kids go to bed, I will do some exercise just in my living room, which the few times that my family has caught me doing it, I tend to do it after everybody goes to bed because then I don't have to feel weird about it. But I do laps around our main floor. We have a little central wall that divides our living room and our kitchen area. And so I'll just do laps, jogging along. And so the thing about this is that in and of itself, that is really boring, just running around in circles in the house. However, you'll notice I'm wearing headphones, when I'm doing it. And this allows me to either play music that I really like, and that can really like jazz me up and get me going to the music, and sometimes I'll dance along with it, or I will listen to audiobooks, or I'll listen to podcasts, something that engages my brain while I'm exercising. And so I stop paying attention to what my body is doing because my brain is all thinking about what I'm listening to. And it's much easier to just do the laps on autopilot while my brain is busy enjoying the thing that I'm entertaining it with. So making the exercise fun has been an absolute key for me. If it's not for that, then I'm just not going to get around to it. And I've tried this because I have diastasis recti, which is where the abdominal muscles are slightly separated after pregnancy. Usually after pregnancy, it can happen for a few things. And I need to do some exercises to try and heal that. And they're so boring. I don't want to do them. And so I've tried a few times or pelvic floor exercises are another one for the same reason, pregnancy. And I just can't get myself to do them. I haven't figured out a way because they require too much brain power to listen to like podcasts or audiobooks. And yet I still need to be able to focus. I can't be doing other things. Like it's anyway, I haven't gotten to those. Still got to work on that one. Haven't figured that out. Maybe I will, and I'll report back once I have figured that out. The next thing that has solved my exercise dilemma in terms of fitting it in consistently, fitting it in once or twice, not a problem. You get a whim and you go out and do it. But getting onto a routine of doing it all the time, every day, is I've habit stacked my exercise, which I'm finding habit stacking to be so key to getting into the routine of doing lots of different chores or things that feel like chores. I have to attach them to things, otherwise I'm not going to remember, or I will put them off, or I'll run out of time, or whatever. So for me, obviously the house jogging takes place after the kids have gone to bed, after my husband goes to bed. So he heads off to bed, and usually the first thing I do is I come down, I make myself a drink that I can sip on when I want to take a little, 20-second break or something like that. And then I put on my audiobook or whatever I'm listening to, and I do my exercise until whatever time frame I decide to set. Usually it's about half an hour. So habit stacking that one, and then also when I want to go for a hike, then I have to pick the kids up at the end of school, so I will leave myself an extra half an hour, go out a bit early, and tag it on to the outing that I'm already doing, because we don't have the nature stuff right around the house for me to go for a good hike. But if I tag it on to picking up the kids, then I can go do that little hike and then go get the kids, and it's part of that routine of the end of school day routine. And the other key here, in addition to the habit stacking, is you need to make it a daily thing, or at least you need to have some sort of routine, some sort of schedule. Maybe it's not daily, maybe it's every other day, and you can keep track of that and be sure that, well, I didn't exercise yesterday, so it has to be today. But you have your routine, or maybe it's like every Wednesday and Saturday I am doing my hike, or whatever it is that you're doing, my dancercise. Then having that routine that you can stick to, where it's set, it's on a schedule, you know exactly when it's expected to happen, and you can hold yourself to that a lot better than just, oh, I should exercise today, I don't feel like it, and then you let yourself off the hook because it's not a regular thing, it's not scheduled, and there's no reason that you have to do it right now, right today. There isn't technically a reason that you have to do it right now, right today, when you're only doing it twice a week either, but it's a lot easier to trick your brain into thinking that there is. So that's the key, is like doing little tricks and things to get your brain to cooperate with you. A third thing that I use a little bit, I have used more in the past than I do now because I just, parenthood schedules and stuff like that, but is accountability with a friend or an exercise partner of some sort. For me these days, that's my dog. Obviously, I have to take my dog out for a walk every day, so I might as well include that in my hike if I can. And if I can't, it does force me to go to the park or whatever, even if that's less fun for me. But I do get out for a little bit of exercise with the dog every day because I know he needs it. And he lets us know if he doesn't get enough exercise because he gets very hyper in the evening and hyper vigilant about barking at things and stuff like that, and it's just easier to make sure he's got the exercise that he needs so that we don't have to deal with any of that stuff in the evening. So for me it's the dog, but I have in the past had hiking partners. I had a couple mum friends who also like to hike. We've all gotten busy, so I've kind of not lost touch, but lost connection with them and don't get out with them hiking anymore. But once upon a time, I had 2 hiking partners and I would see each of them once a week on different days. So one of them it would be like every Thursday or Wednesday or whatever it was, and the other one I'd see them on the weekends, and we'd have our set days and we'd get together and we'd go out for a hike and we'd be carrying the babies in, backpack carriers on our backs, so you'd have that extra like bonus effort, calorie burning, whatever, and that was really great exercise. And because had this arrangement with my friends that was already set up, there was that accountability and that commitment to going and doing the exercise, doing the thing. Now, if you don't want to go hiking, obviously you can maybe sign up with a friend to go to the gym twice a week or whatever, and you meet each other there and you chat while you're doing whatever. I mean, I have trouble chatting when I'm exercising really hard, like on the treadmill or something, but maybe you could. I don't know. It depends on how your exercise schedule ends up looking. But just having, also a bonus of doing that is seeing friends. It's an extra fun thing. An extra fun element is seeing friends in addition to the accountability. Or you could sign up for some sort of class that happens every week or maybe twice a week or something like that, and then having that scheduled class, whether it be virtual. I know there are some virtual exercise classes that you can sign up for, or it's an in-person class that you actually have to go to and make the effort to do and pay for. Some of these are free, some of them you have to pay for, but whatever. If you have that class, that event that you are participating in, then it's more likely to keep you on a schedule and encourage you to go. Again, it's that accountability element. And finally, if you're still struggling to get your exercise in after all of these little tricks of trying to get your brain to work with you, and you really don't want to exercise on a day, sometimes you can trick yourself into doing it just by promising yourself a reward when you're done. And I've done this myself, where the weather is crappy, but I still have to take the dog out and I don't really want to go, but I know I need to. And so I tell myself, all right, you can cut the hike a little bit short and then you can go and get yourself an iced cap or a hot coffee or something from Tim Hortons or whatever cafe, and then I have that to look forward to at the end of the exercise. And it's easier to follow through with the exercise before you get that reward if the reward is something that you have to make a special trip for, because, well, I don't know about you, but for myself anyway, if I haven't done the thing, I feel too guilty to go and get the reward. If it's just like, well, I'll do the exercise and then I will treat myself to half a chocolate bar from the kitchen cupboard or something like that. It's there anyway, and it's so easy to talk myself into, well, maybe I'll just have it anyway because, it's there and I want it. But if it's something like, having to go to a store to get the coffee or whatever it is that you've promised yourself, I find it much harder to say, well, I'm going to go get the coffee anyway, even though I didn't do the exercise, because, like, even if I'm out and about, because the guilt up here is, even to myself, keeps me from doing that. So that's how I go about getting myself to exercise regularly. For me, it's all about finding an activity that I enjoy, or making it an activity that I enjoy, and holding myself accountable to it by using habit stacking and a weekly routine or a daily routine. And in some cases, having an accountability partner. For me, that's my dog. If you use some of these tips, hopefully you can find a way to get in an exercise habit too. It doesn't have to be the stereotypical exercise with weights and repetitions and treadmills or exercise bikes or whatever. If you don't want it to be, you don't have to go to a gym. There are other ways to exercise. Think outside the box a little bit. Think about what is at your disposal. Think about ways that you can make it fun for yourself and build it into your routine. See if any of your friends want to participate. And you should be able to get yourself into the habit of at least getting some exercise in some form on a schedule that works for you. I hope that helped. Leave me a comment down below if you've got any tips or tricks, or you want to share what has worked for you in terms of getting your exercise in. I'd love to hear it. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.